Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Hills Mill Homestead. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Holden, that is with our local extension office. And would you like to introduce yourself to the camera?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Holden. I'm the new extension agent here in Hickman County. I specialize in agriculture and natural resources. So I've gotten an introduction of the whole farm today, and it's been amazing. So I appreciate you having me out.
Yes, sir. But here's the antenna that we make
Okay.
and sell. It's just a copper antenna. Now there's a reason for that length. There's a reason for those 7 coils, and it's 100% copper. Put it on the south side of your plant. So the inner core of the earth is liquid metal. And it's always turning. And even an updated report, what was that, about a week, 2 weeks ago? The scientists have discovered that it slowed down and is about to reverse of what it's always been doing since history has been, hundreds of years. The movement of that liquid metal inside the earth releases electromagnetic energy through the earth. Comes out the South Pole, goes into the North Pole. That is what creates our magnetic field around the earth. If it wasn't for a magnetic field, solar flares, solar dust and all that, there would be nothing alive on the earth if it wasn't for our magnetic fields. So the magnetic field moving creates the electricity that's all around us. And it's the movement of that electromagnetic energy from the South Pole to the North Pole, all encompassing the earth, that creates the natural electricity. Every 1.5 feet is a volt of natural electricity all the way to the ozone. And Nikola Tesla is the first one discovered. He may not have been the first one to discover the natural electricity, but he is the one that has so much research on it. And so I got a lot of research from him. And like the Bosky coil, that was back 1780s, I believe, 1770s. But electroculture was first talked about and utilized overseas. And in the 1920s, big pharma chemical companies shut it down because they couldn't sell fertilizer if you were going to go with electroculture.
Not money in that.
And the electroculture, the downside of it is what they were saying was you're going to grow so much vegetables that none of it's going to be worth anything, and there'll be no market for it. And there's a lot of truth to that. And you see how small this little garden is. It's just incredible. 14, now 15 families. We keep up 15 families.
Wow.
Out of this.
That's impressive for this small little spot.
It is. That's 50 tomato plants.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And
but imagine if every other person did that.
Now you do a lot with 4-H, right?
That's more of my boss's job. I'm more of like the promoting economic growth, answering questions for farmers, coming on to like farms like this, doing farm visits, getting to know the community, getting to know people, trying to help answer questions, and also just learn a bunch along the way. So
well, that's good.
There's a lot I don't know, and there's quite a bit I do know. So
well, that's good being out with visiting everybody. And
Mickey and I both grew up doing ag.
okay.
Back in the day, it was cool to be the ag kids, but you don't see that a whole lot now.
No.
But we were both in FFA and ag in school, so.
So I am trying to, so I don't particularly, I'm not involved with 4-H, but there's some stuff that I want to do to help get more kids interested in it. So this, here coming up soon, I'm getting my Part 107, which is a drone license, so I can commercially fly drones. And so I'd like to go down to the school maybe and show the ag kids kind of drones and what they can do with ag. And
yeah, it's incredible.
Just to get your interest, because I know if I was in high school and somebody brought a drone to school, I'd be like,
oh, I got to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And if I let you touch the remote and fly it a little bit too, it's like you're hooked. So
yeah.
That's all it's going to take, and I can get them interested in that.
Yeah, tell us what drones are doing now for farms and for ag.
Yeah, absolutely.
What applications are they using?
So it's a big deal. The market's it's not saturated yet, but it's definitely filling up. It's something that's happened pretty quick. So people, a lot of them are using for as simple as I'm gonna go check my fences, go check on cows. It's as simple as that. So imagine having to get out and drive everywhere on your
If you got
farm.
a big acre,
I mean, yeah, if you're on a
acres of
if you're on a
corn,
1,000-acre ranch, or if you're on, and you know, you want to look at that, well, it's like, well, when we just get my drone up and go 45 miles an hour across my field and look at this. I mean, it's that much easier. And I've heard stories of farmers that couldn't find a young calf and they didn't know where it was at. Well, guy comes out there and he has thermal imaging on his drone, which he can use, and he can come out there and do that. So I mean, just little stuff is that. Now, when you get onto the more of the commercial side, which I could do when I get my license, but I probably won't go into this. Is you applicator. So you go out on farms and you're spraying entire fields with that. Get a little 5-gallon, which 5-gallon spray for a drone is pretty impressive. But you got to get
weight.
Yeah, you got. I've seen those drones. Those are really cool. You get into those drones, it's like $40,000-$50,000 drones though. So it's not in my pocket range, but I've seen them and they're
for a big farm.
Absolutely.
That beats having to hire a plane or the machinery, the high machinery to be able to go across it. And then if it gets too tall, you can't do it anyway. So it's an alternative that hasn't existed in the past 6-8 years.
It's like all I gotta do is come out here, and you can. There's stuff in the apps, or apps that you can use, and I can come out here and I can set a pathing. And the pathing, go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. And I want to go here. Just
the
just like
greatest
that.
example of the drones was the 4th of July show.
Yes.
That's a great example of what a drone is capable of. 400 drones synchronized.
Yep.
One operator. That was pretty impressive. And I think in the future they're going to do away with fireworks and just do drones.
Probably.
Let's go to the barn. We'll check out what we do with the sawmill.
Absolutely.
Born and raised here. Went in the Marine Corps. I left high school. Went in the Marine Corps. Went overseas for a while. I've always worked in Nashville and drove back and forth to Gittin County. But I'm not a typical sawmill. And I was watching a report yesterday that out in Montana there's this humongous 50-acre sawmill that's got like 300 employees, and his payroll is $6 million a year.
Oh my goodness!
And he's shutting it down because it can't find help. Now the particular place that it's located, so for the whole gist of it, the bottom line is they don't have sewer in that county, in that city, for new development, and it's been 30 years since they've even built a house or duplex or anything. It's been 30 years because their infrastructure won't allow it. So they brought it up for a vote, and the town voted it down because it's so expensive. You know, money up front and then so much a month. So without the sewer, they can't bring in anybody for affordable housing. And ever since the pandemic, everybody bought up everything in that town for either rich people or rental properties and things like that. So there's nobody to work. Everybody's rich. Everybody that owns a property's got money and don't need a job. So they're shutting it down. And that's the last one in that county in Montana. And there were like 3 big ones that were shut down just past 2 years. But it's incredible. 50-acre sawmill. And I mean, it had probably 100 trailer trucks, loads of lumber stacked out in the yard. And that was it. They were closing down. 3rd generation. They've been open 75 years. So anyway, that being said, the price of timber, you know, when your 2x4s were $14 a piece, the log price never went up. And now log prices are down to about $440 a thousand, and that's just nothing. That's nothing for a log. And I own a sawmill, but I would not dare cut one of my trees for a sawmill. That's just mainly what I do is suburban, urban, and suburban. When trees fall, and they cut them down in the city, and I'll give you a prime example here. Have you ever seen dog redwood? But in Kentucky, you'll find groves of it every now and then. But as far as a native tree, it's not. It's a softwood, much like cedar, but man, it's beautiful. So basically, what I do is I'm a woodworker sawmill. I'm an old woodworker, and so I saw for, you know, any woodworker, live edge, all kinds of different, you know, maple, walnut, anything that's hot for the market, especially on the hardwood, for cutting boards and you name it. It's just endless. So that's what I do is I'm a woodworker sawmill. I'm not just a typical sawmill running ties in and out of here and all that.
I bet those will make a pretty table.
Yes, sir. Live edge farm tables.
Yeah, I bet that would be pretty.
I had that once. Let's see, I think it's been about 5 years ago. I've been here since 2015. I had a business in Nashville for several years, and I was living in Nashville at the time. And I bought this land and started going from there in 2015. So it's 9 years since I've been here. There was not one level inch on this property. I moved every bit of this dirt.
Dang.
With that bobcat. Every inch of it. There was not one level inch here.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. Throw some dirt in it. You can grow. But this is something that we started this year.
Okay.
Because we like to grow, but at the end of the garden season at frost, you know, we don't have a high tunnel yet. We hope to in the future get us a high tunnel. I got a pad already made for it and blah, blah, blah. But so we've done a lot of perennials, and yeah, everything just about in here is propagated except those apple trees. I got those bare root, ordered those back in the winter. But so had extra pepper plants, and I didn't have any place for my gourds, so I just turned them loose, let them grow in here, and so yeah. And that's what we're into now is the propagation, because if you go, I mean, goodness gracious, at the big box store, an apple tree's $40.
Yep.
From 4-H.
No, this is something I got into on my own, and I sold locally, made a business out of it, and I tried to deliver to people. Never made any money. Chickens, you're never gonna make money off of
Now,
it.
did you sell them live? Or?
No, so I did farm fresh eggs. I was big on that. I had not 20 chickens, and I did a lot of research. Are you familiar with golden comets?
Mm-hmm.
So I got those because those are as far as to my knowledge, the biggest eggs you can get on the market. I mean,
Probably, yeah.
they're about a $50 size, but I've had them bigger than that. And they're about that big around. For some of those, I can't even get them to fit in my egg cartons a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I did that for a while. Had a couple barred rocks as well. So that was, I never made money
So
off
you
it.
didn't process them, you just sold the eggs?
Yep.
That's a tough market.
Yeah, I
We've
probably
been
sold
giving
too
away
cheap.
eggs for 3 years, sometimes 5 to 10 dozen a week.
I think I sold too cheap too, and plus the cost of
Oh,
feed was feed's what ate me alive.
It is. But you see the rooster?
Yep.
You see the green sheen in his feathers?
Mm-hmm.
So the Australorp has the green sheen in their feathers. Well, a nemesis for a hawk is what? A crow. And you've probably seen all the noise going on with crows chasing hawks.
Yeah, I feed all the time on my property.
Yeah. So if a hawk sees a crow, they won't come around. And a hawk recognizes those as a crow because of that green sheen. And you can see I free range them. You know, I got it. Of course, I got it closed in because of dogs and foxes and all that. But never lost one to a hawk. Now, I've lost them to a possum and a coon. And did you ever use the automatic gates, the automatic openers?
No, so we had ours as completely enclosed all the way around. We had a little pheasant wire all the way around it, and we dug like 3 feet deep dirt and poured concrete.
Yeah.
Because after a certain depth, animals get discouraged and they just quit digging. So
we had this one since as far as these automatic doors. And I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you, man, that is the deal. We've had this one for what, 7 months? 2 AA batteries, never failed.
Yep.
You set it for what time you want to do it, or you can set it for daylight and dark. Automatic doors. Yeah.
how much is it typically? Something like that.
This one runs, I think, about 160.
Okay.
I paid 100 and something for one that was on sale, and it never worked the first freaking time, and there was no money business from kind of no money back guarantee, none of that. Yeah, there's some babies that's hatched here in the past few days, and so that's the first time we've let them actually sit on the eggs long enough to hatch. But that's what I would suggest that to anybody. You wake up, you know, one morning it's 35 degrees outside and snowing and raining, and you're like, I got to go let the chickens out. Nope. Bing. Opens on its own.
That's nice.
Yes, it is. It takes all the work out of the chicken. But you can see, I just let them free range. And, you know, it's some people say it's an old wives' tale about the green sheen on the Australorps, but I'm telling you, it works. It's worked for me. And so I've told people that, you know, a lot. And haven't had any problems with hawks.
Well, something's doing right.
Yep. Something's going good. And these are a heritage breed Australorp. And Austral holds the world record for 364 eggs. Missed it by 1 day.
Wow.
An egg a day for 364 days.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I tell you what though, with at my peak moment with my golden comments, I swear to you, some of those chickens were probably laying twice a day.
I've had it. I've had chickens lay twice a day, double yolk, triple yolk, and all that. You know, yolk.
People love it when you get double yolk on there too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. That's like 2 eggs for the price of one.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can see that compost, that's the key for everything that we do around here. This is my little compost bin. You can see that I've started out on this side and flip it and turn it, and you know.
You take any of the chicken?
Absolutely.
That's the best fertilizer you can get, right?
Worm castings is your top natural fertilizer.
Okay.
The very number 1. Rabbit is number 2. Chickens on down. But we're down to like 4 rabbits, and as you can see, I just collect their poop, and it goes into the pans, and I throw it in a barrel, and you know, it's simplified. You try to take all the work out of it that we can, and get out there twice a day and keep them watered and fed. And of course, rabbits are messy. That's just part of it. You gotta keep them clean every now and then. For our compost, our rabbits and chickens, and of course, all the garden, everything goes into it. All that good stuff. But you're right, man. The price of feed, especially for chickens, and I'm gonna tell you, at the big box store like Tractor Supply, you know, most of their feed is 16%. And you go to co-op and you get 22%. And here about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, there were a lot of people online in the videos talking about the chicken. This is a company in Knoxville, a family that created these, and they sell them. It's called Greenstalk. Anybody that has a balcony or a porch, for young 4-Hers, FFA people, everybody that says, "Oh, I can't grow a garden, I've never grown one," boy, that's the start right there. This thing gets filled up, and it is like 200 pounds. But I've got this on a stand where we can move it around, keep the sunshine.
Yeah.
We need to get, our strawberries need some sunshine. But as far as somebody, like I said, people live in an apartment, if they've got a balcony, boom, you can put 2 or 3 of those on a balcony. You'd be surprised how much food.
We have a lot of trouble with crows. Crows tear our apple trees up.
I don't have any problem with crows. Honey, I think we're going to have to be picking some apples. Look like they're turning red. This peach tree, you can see on the ground, this thing dropped hundreds. But this thing was just freaking loaded. We got it on video. Loaded peaches.
And that's the electroculture antenna in there.
Yeah, that's the orchard antenna.
Huh.
So that one's basically 6 foot, and it covers a 10-foot radius in the ground. And just to run over it again, that antenna is wound clockwise to receive. If you're in the southern hemisphere, they do counterclockwise. But for people who don't know, some people don't know, plus your commode, and whichever way it drains is the way it needs to be. So in our hemisphere, it's clockwise. And as I was saying, the energy comes out of the South Pole into the North Pole. So you want everything on the south side of your plants and trees. It's going to receive that energy first. It's going to pull the electrons from the natural electricity down into the soil. The electrons is going to make the good bacteria grow, and all the microorganisms that's in the ground, it gives them a boost. And that's the basics behind electroculture. Now there's a lot of videos out about electroculture and crystals and all kinds of stuff. That's all above my pay grade. All I know is what I know, and I've been doing this 40 years with electroculture. The galvanized baskets, the trellises, the antennas. Got a couple of fig trees. My figs aren't doing as well. That sounds like a bee. We've got honeybees, and that really helps on the pollination.
Absolutely.
So we've got some hives up there, and we've got one hive down below. I was just telling Kathy this morning, they about got me yesterday, and we usually don't have any problems, but that's one after me now. But I walked in front of the carport yesterday, and boy, they got after me. This year we've got some grapes going on. I really haven't had any grapes, so set up a trellis and Got a few plants trying to come on with that, and so we're always expanding. But you can see that we're on a hillside, and so we're kind of limited.
Absolutely.
But this is what can be accomplished on the hillside too. I mean, at least part of this, you can go a lot farther with it if you got more money, Everything about this place came from that sawmill. When I left my work in Nashville, I shut the company down, and everything that's been done here was one customer at a time from that sawmill.
They do it right there. That's just the fun of everything else.
It is. I mean, it's not hard work, because it is hard work. And you can't find help. Kathy is my best help. Of course, I don't pay her enough. She knows how that goes. we keep the lights on, at least anyway.
Yeah.
We do eat good.
Yeah, we do.
We eat out of the garden a lot. But this is just I just keep adding to it every year. And now that we've got the shade house, we're going to add more fruit trees. And, before it's over, I got a little over 3 acres here. And before it's over with, I want it planted everywhere. We got a spring down below.
I tell you what, though, that's what I like, and I appreciate the fact that you show and utilize 3 acres. So
yes,
that's like you show what can be done with the smallest stuff. You can get more, if we can get more people, especially in suburban areas, it's like
containers, green stalk. There's just come on.
Shows anybody can do agriculture, and just like as far as
if you got a sidewalk,
yes,
you can do it on the sidewalk. So there's our blackberries. They're about played out now, but man, we had some nice blackberries. We had Freedom and Triple Crown, but apple, peaches. Now the peaches we had, my goodness, they were good. But Kathy made us some blackberry cobblers. And, well, how does it work? And so I put one in every other one, and I planted the same potatoes in every one. And you can look on the video, your eyes can't lie, that the ones with the antenna were twice as big as the ones without an antenna. Every other one was twice as big as the one without an antenna. So that was kind of my test result to try to put a visual on it. But, electroculture, like I said, it's been around since the pyramids. Do you know who built the pyramids? No scientist can tell you today who built the pyramids. And not only that, they can't tell you how they had electricity in the pyramids. Yeah. And they had electricity inside the pyramids. And it's the shape of the pyramid is the whole key to it. Now, you want to go down a rabbit hole, get in the pyramids. That'll carry you down a ton of rabbit holes. But there had to be something to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they still don't even know how they built them, let alone who built them. The key to the containers is your drip system. And there's just nothing like it in the world to come out here and know that the garden needs to be watered, and you just turn the faucet on and walk away.
That's
And watch the clock and come back and turn it off whenever it's ready. You see that green thing on the hose?
Yeah.
So it's called Plant Surge. The company reached out to us a few months ago and was offering us some plant surges to do a trial. And so I researched everything about it. What's that be? So what this is 2 heavy-duty magnets. And it's creating a magnetic field when you put them in that hose. And when the water passes through that hose, through that magnetic field, it breaks down the molecular structure of that water, and it makes the cells smaller. It makes the plants easier to take up the water. And there's a lot of documented science behind it. And so continue to follow along with us, and you never know what's coming up next, but we're enjoying it out here this morning and having a tour of our garden and checking out our electroculture antennas and some of the success that we're having and sharing that with Mr. Holden.
I've been working at the sawmill since I was 8 years old. I carried water to my daddy, God rest his soul. I keep rolling them logs, 'cause that's all I'll ever know. I get that old saw turned every morning at 5. I keep that steam engine burning, chonking wood in the fire. That 40-inch blade spitting chips nearly 10 foot high. There's splinters in my hands and sawdust in my shirt. At the end of the day, my old dog sure do hurt. I keep stacking that lumber till they put me under the dirt. I ain't fit for chopping cotton, I ain't made for hauling hay. I don't wanna drive no fence post to dig a dead man's grave. You won't catch me in a coal mine or find me milking cows. It's a hard life I'm living, Lord, but I ain't quitting now, 'cause I've been working at the sawmill since I was 8 years old. I keep rolling them logs, 'cause that's all I'll ever know. Roll it. I ain't never seen him smile. He's got it made in the shade, sitting by the old log pile. Maybe he's mad, 'cause he probably ain't been laid in a while. I got a woman at home, and she's fried chicken in a pan. She love me real good, but she don't understand. She got stuck, married to a sawmill man. I ain't fit for chopping cotton, I ain't made for hauling hay. I don't wanna drive no fence post to dig a dead man's grave. You won't catch me in a coal mine or find me milking cows. It's a hard life I'm living, Lord, but I ain't quitting now, 'cause I've been working at the sawmill since I was 8 years old. I keep rolling them logs, 'cause that's all I'll ever know. I keep rolling them logs, 'cause that's all